The last class, did everybody attended? The Sunday's class where you were taught web technologies. Nobody attended that? Okay, today, as we have already finished our syllabus, today we'll try to do so we are going for the question papers. We last time discussed about to discuss the question papers. So here, just let it open. We are searching for MCS 219. This is your June 2025 paper, the latest which has been conducted, right? So here, if you see, it is a 3 hours paper. I've already told you, and the maximum marks is 100. The question one will be compulsory question. Question number one is compulsory and carries 40 marks. So if you see, question number one has A, B, C, D, E, F, A, B, C, D, E questions are there in this sections, and each of them have marks. So total question number one, which is compulsory, is of 40 marks, and then you have to attempt any three questions from the rest. So rest you have two, three, four, five. Five questions are there exactly. So two, three, four, five. You have to attempt any three, right? So you can leave from two, three, four, five any one question. So question number one, if you see, what is OOAD? Briefly explain the advantages of OOAD. So this is your question. So if you go to your study material, if I go to, so I'm going to your study material, block 1, unit 1. Right. So here you have introduction to object orientation, basic philosophies. These things are given. So they have asked you that what is OAD? Briefly explain advantages of OAD, right? So the so here from here you can see they are explaining about OAD somewhat. Some things have been explained here that OAD is sequential in nature. The analysis phase establishes the OAD is object oriented analysis and design. So you have to give the full form also if they have here if they have given you object oriented analysis and design is an approach for developing software system using object oriented software engineering concepts. OAD is about having lots of options. There is never only one right way to solve a problem. More options may exist. The more options you have, the better chance you will find us a good solution to every problem. Right. So this is there, and requirements are those things which your system must do to work correctly. Object-oriented analysis is a primary technical step. Then comes an object-oriented design. So they have given you the definition of what is object-oriented analysis and design, and then so if you have to write what is the advantage of if you have to write the advantages of OOAD, So one of the advantages, sharing of structure and behavior. This is one of the advantage. The other advantage is emphasis on object structure, not on operation implementation. These are the two uh, basic philosophy of object orientation, or the you can say the advantages. So that those things you should implement. Right, so that so this unit 1 is important from the point of view that you will also may get a question on object oriented modeling, right? So what is object oriented modeling? If you get, so this is your thing. Object oriented modeling is this OM uh, modeling technique covers aspects of object oriented analysis and design, so this can also come, right? And the object oriented modeling is divided into various stages: requirement and requirement analysis of system, designing of the system, detailed designing with a focus on objects in the system, and implementing the model. So this is your diagram for object oriented modeling. So this can also be asked to you, right? Here they are saying object modeling technique covers to cover the complete system description. Whole object oriented modeling is done using three models. So there are three kinds of models in object oriented modeling technique: object model, dynamic model, functional model. Right. So that is what is explained here. Object modeling is making your class diagram and object diagram. Every object has some attribute and behavior, so that is object modeling. Dynamic modeling is concerned with the dynamic behavior of the system, that is with time, state, and transition from one to another. So you have state chart diagram, then communication diagram and all that. Functional modeling is the information is converted and processed. It represents how the data flow from one operation to another, that is your DFD, data flow diagram. So that is what you should know. So this is your first part of the question. What is OOAD? Briefly explain the advantages of OOAD. Right. So reuse, you can do reusability, you can do sharing of structure, that is reusability only. The two advantages we have seen, and the focus is on objects rather than on operation. What is abstraction in OOAD? Explain why abstraction is used. Illustrate with the help of an example. So, if this is your question, what is abstraction? So, when you talk about principles of object orientation, the first principle is abstraction. So, this is where abstraction is given. Abstraction is one of the very important concept of object oriented system. Abstraction focuses on the essential inherent aspects of an object of the system. It does not represent the accidental properties of the system. In system development, abstraction helps focus on what an object is supposed to do before deciding how it should be implemented. The use of abstraction protects the freedom to make decisions for as long as possible by avoiding intermediate commitments in the problem solving. So, they have given you what is abstraction. Right. So, example they have given here, we can see abstraction in the real world all the time, and we just do not think of it in that specific way. One very common example you may take: when you interact with your mobile phones, all you do is open an application and press a button to make a call. Actually, you are performing a simple task, but in reality, a lot of things are happening that you may not know or do not need to know as a used user. So this is actually the abstraction, and it is applied as a principle is object oriented modeling, right? So this is what example you can give. So this will answer your what is abstraction and explain why abstraction is used. So this is given here, what is abstraction and why it is used, and the example is also given. So you can go through that. Then they are asking you question. Next question is, what is UML? Draw hierarchy UML diagram. So UML is Unified Modeling Language, which is used for drawing diagrams. I don't know UML is given in this or not. I'm just seeing. So this is class and object. If you are asked a question about what is the difference between an object and a class, so it is also there. And the definition, link and association is also given, multiplicity is given, aggregation is given, generalization and inheritance is given. So that is one thing. So they have may given you. Benefits of object oriented modeling is also given. So it has, you can also put it in object oriented analysis and design, also faster development, increased quality, easier maintenance, reuse of software design framework, reduce development risk. So these are the advantages. So they have given you. So UML, that is Unified Modeling Language, is a well accepted language for OOAD. So it is given here. It is used for visualizing, specifying, constructing, and final documentation. The basic building block of UML used for OOAD are things, relationship, and diagrams. Basically, Unified Modeling Language focuses on the concept of BOOCH, OMT, and object-oriented software engineering. The result of these concepts is a single, common, and widely usable modeling language for users of these and other methods. The Unified Modeling Language also promotes the concept of what can be done with existing methods, right? So that is given here. What is UML, right? Draw hierarchy diagram of UML. So they are asking. So I'm just going through. So these are the softwares they have given you about the UML. I think this part only has this one. Okay. Then we go to the second unit. Here you will have actual UML definitions and all. So here it is given. So UML is a standard modeling language, and it is different from the other programming languages such as C++ or Java. It is a pictorial language used to build models for software systems. UML is used to design models for large, medium, as well as small applications. UML was created by the Object Management Group, OMG, and the current version of UML modeling language is this one, released in this. So that is, if you want to give the version or not, that is not required. For designing application, you can use UML tools. Okay, that is there. So this is a hierarchy diagram. This is the hierarchy diagram. So the here you will write UML diagrams, and there are two types of diagrams: structure diagram, behavioral diagram. Under structural diagram, you will only give those diagrams which you are studying, like the you are studying the class diagram, the component diagram, the object diagram, and the deployment diagram. These are under structure diagram: class, component, object, and deployment. And under the behavioral diagram, you have activity diagram, use case diagram, you have state machine diagram, so and communication diagram and sequence diagram. So the diagrams which you are using, just so these are the interaction diagrams you have. So we, in the interaction diagram, we only study sequence diagram and communication diagram, and other diagrams are activity, use case, and state machine. So this is the hierarchy of UML diagrams which you have to mention in the question which is here. So this is your answer to this question. Then they are asking you, third is, what is inheritance? Explain the basic rules or semantic rules of inheritance. So the inheritance part, if you go through, so inheritance was also given here also. If we go for the principles of object oriented, here abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance. So inheritance is taken in the sense of code reuse within object oriented development. During modeling, we look at the resulting classes and try to group similar classes together so that code reuse can be enforced. Generalization, specialization, and inheritance have a very close association. Generalization is used to refer to the relationship among classes, and inheritance is used for sharing attributes and operation using the generalization relationship. So, in respect of inheritance, generalization and specialization are two phases of a coin, in the sense that if a subclass is seen from a superclass, the subclass is seen as a specialized version of the superclass, and in reverse, a superclass looks like a general form of a subclass. So, so use inheritance when one object behaves like another rather than just when the is a relationship applies. During inheritance, a subclass may override a superclass feature by defining that feature with the same name. The overriding feature, the subclass feature with the same name of superclass feature, refines and replaces the overridden feature, the superclass feature. So you can give an example like this. Shape is there. So there are different types of shape. These are the subclasses of shape: circle, triangle, and square. So shape has draw and erase as the method. So circle is drawn in a different way, triangle is drawn in a different way. So they will override the draw method. Circle will have pi r square, triangle will have half breadth into height if it is a right angle triangle. Square will have side square, right? So these are the things you can give an example of. So this is what is there. What is inheritance with the basic rule of semantic for inheritance? So that is there. What is one-to-one association? Explain with an example. Always also explain how one-to-one associations are implemented. If you are asked for one-to-one association, so I think so. Associations are given here or not? And the so here your classes are there. Relationship. So this is your association. So association is a part of relationship between classes. Refers to the relationship between classes in which objects of one class are connected to other class for communicating data. When you connect just classes is called a binary association because there are two classes. Associations can also have more than two classes, which will be known as n-ary associations. So you have aggregation as a special kind of association, right? One of the that specifies a whole part relationship between aggregate and component part. So they have explained that, but we are talking about one-to-one association. So I'm just seeing if they have given you multiplicity. Huh. So here multiplicity is given. Multiplicity pronounces how many instances of one class may communicate to single instance of another class. So you can have a multiplicity of exactly one, zero or one, many or one or more, and you can see this feature in the diagram, right? So have they explained one-to-one association? So in this part, I don't think so. They have explained one-to-one association. This has use case diagram. This won't be having. This is state machine. This will also not be having. And this is collaboration diagram. So we may go to block 2. I don't know what is in block 2. Maybe I will see in this one. Aggregation is explained in this. Gen composition is also shown. Abstract class is there. Multiple inheritance is there. Generalization and specialization. If you are asked question about generalization and specialization, it is given in block 2 unit 6. Metadata and keys, integrity constraint, domain integrity and trigger operation integrity rules, object model. Okay, in this also relationship, one-to-one relationship is not there. This will also not be having. This is DFD. If you want to know, I don't think so. This will also be explaining one-to-one relationship. So if you want to have a difference between association, aggregation, and composition, so it is given in block 3, unit 11, right? Association on page number 9. Association, aggregation, and composition. What is the difference between the three of them? So here it is one-to-one association in block 3, unit 11. So in a one-to-one association, one class instance is connected to just only one instance of other class. Consider a situation where manager is related to its department in one-to-one relationship. One department, one manager, right? So that kind of a thing. So you have different kind of association. So we are talking about one to one. So what is one to one association? Explain with an example. So the example is also given. Also explain how one to one associations are implemented. For the implementation part, remember we had gone to unit 4 in our practicals. So in the unit 4, block 4, unit 12. So here one to one association is given under unidirectional and bidirectional also. So whichever you want to give an example of, you can take that. So I'm just going for that. This is one to many. This is one to one association. I think multiplicity. This one is there. So the one-to-one association is simplest form of association to implement between two classes. One-to-one association, one occurrence of a class is related to exactly one occurrence of the associated class. In unidirectional, so you can traverse from an occurrence of one class to an occurrence of the associated class as indicated by direction of the arrow, like this. Clock to one clock unidirection it is, so one way clock to clock will display, so it will go from clock to display. One to one association is there, one clock one display. So but not in a reverse direction. This type of association is easily implemented using an attribute that contains a reference to an occurrence of the associated class. For example, one to one association exists between two classes, clock and display, which is shown here. Example is this. The implementation of the above figure is as public class clock. So we will make a class clock and we'll make a class display. So here we will have a, they are saying we will have a reference to an occurrence of the associated class. So reference will be like this: private display, and the name of that variable we have put for the display is the display, like that. Right. So here another example they are giving: person and account. One person will have one account and unidirectional it is. Account will not have person. Person will have an account. So one way direction is there. And here a class person is created and a private account variable is created like this. An object you can say for the account class inside the person class, and this is a constructor where account is equal to this variable account will be equal to new account. That means it is creating an object for that account is equal to new account class, right? Account public account get account. So you are calling the class method which is get account, and it will return the account, and you will have a class account also. So this is how they have shown you an example. This is how you implement it. So this is what they are asking you. So these are the questions. Question number 1, which is compulsory. First question: A, B, C, D, E. So these are the compulsory questions. Now, when you go to the second question, it is asking what is object modeling, what is the output of object modeling, explain how a object diagram is created with the help of an example. So we had talked about object modeling in the first unit, if you remember, block 1. So your OMT was this object modeling. Okay. So here they have talked about object-oriented modeling is a suitable modeling technique for handling complex systems. Object-oriented modeling is basically used for building an application model, which includes the system implementation details during the system design. Uh, Object-oriented modeling approach is an encouraging approach in which software developers have to think about the application domain throughout most of the software engineering lifecycle. In this process, developer is required to identify the inherent processes of the application. First, the developer organize and understand the system correctly, and then and they detail the data structure and functions of the system. Also, it is found that most good design comes from an analysis of bad design. Therefore, object-oriented modeling analysis plays a very important role in proper system design. Right? So they have given you what else they have asked you. What is the output of object modeling? Object modeling's output is your object diagram and class diagram. Right? Output will be this object model, dynamic model, and functional model. So there are three kinds of in object oriented modeling is divided into various stages. These are your stages: system requirement analysis of the system, designing of the system, detailed designing with the focus on objects in the system, and implementing the model. So requirements, then analysis, and during analysis you are making an object model, a dynamic model, and a functional model. Then comes the design phase. So after that you design it, and then you implement, that is the coding. So that is what you do. And in oriented technique, these are the three models which are your output, right? So right. So this is there. And then they are asking explain how an object diagram is created with the help of an example. So object diagram is simply, if we talk about is a class diagram, a simple class diagram, and where the like here, this way. So object colon class. So the value of that object will be given here. Like if it is a car class, so car example will be Maruti or whatever, and the attribute of whatever attributes you have given in the class, right, equal to the value of those attributes you will apply. That will be an object diagram. I don't know. They have, so here if you see, object is considered as a physical entity. Class is defined as an entity that exists logically. Any number of objects can be created for a class. Class is declared once. Instance of a class is an object. Class is used to group similar objects. So that is what they have given you. I don't know. They have given an example of a object diagram or not. In this, so they have not given. Let us go here. So this is your class diagram, right? If you have to create an object diagram of this, so you will give the name of like ignu colon university. Ignu is the object, or ignu colon university. Name is equal, name is ignu. Address, whatever address you are giving for that, phone number, the value of the phone number. So this is like here also school, suppose SOCIS colon school, any value of the school you are giving, like that. So that will be your object model. Probably, I'm just seeing if they've given you an example of an object model or not. Like here, they have given instant and object diagram. So car company is there. So you have Tata Motors, Hindustan Motors. These are the objects. So you will give object name colon classifier name, that is class name. Like here, car class is there. So you are saying Renault colon car, name is equal to Kiger, price is equal to 8 lakh, like that. Hyundai colon car, so whatever. So objects can be any number of objects can be there. So we are just taking one of the objects. Same way here also. India colon country, name is equal to India. So this. This is how they have given you, right? So you can make an object diagram, any example of an object diagram you can create, right? Then next B is, what is a use case diagram? Where can we use use case diagram? Explain the include dependency in use case with the help of an example. So if we are talking about a use case diagram, so this block 1 unit 3 is talking about use case diagram. So you will go through that. So the definition, so here they have given you object diagram. So if we use an object diagram, then the unlimited number of instances are available in nature and need to be considered, its impact on the system following should be considered. And so what all things you will need to, how do you will construct it? So these are the options. The question which was asked here, explain how an object diagram is created and example. So this is objects are used to construct the object diagram. Links are used for connecting the objects. Objects and links are, so this is what how you construct this, right? So they have given you the use case diagram. They are talking about the use case diagram is a type of a dynamic behavioral diagram, a dynamic diagram you can say. In UML, the dynamic behavior of the system can be measured in various ways. A use case diagram is used to represent internal external factors to make the system more impressive. Use case diagram contains actors, use cases, and their relationship. It is used to model the system of an application. A single use case diagram is used to represent a particular functionality of a system. Every use case has a unique name that discriminates it from the other use cases. To model the system, use case diagrams are used. Complete system. So yeah, here the objective is given, right? The use case diagram is used to express the dynamic expression of a system or dynamic behavior. It is used to determine the internal and external impact. So you can take the definition from here, right? Right. So therefore, when a system is required to collect its functionalities, use cases are prepared and actors are used. The objective of the use case is here to identify the requirement of a system, to get the external perspective of a system, to identify the internal external factors and influence the system. So the relationship between actors, and also describe the flow of the event. So these are there. Then they have asked you, sorry, they have asked you, what is a use case diagram? Where can we use use case diagram? So where can we use use case diagram? So it is used to capture the business processing of a system. It is of two types. One is representing the business rules and other is used for business processing. So where you have, where you your internal and external impact of the system, where the specification of the design or requirements are there, right? There you will use. And here they have given you an example of the various associated actors. So they are talking about the ATM system, right? So in our ATM system, who are all the actors? A bank customer, a card holder, a customer. So a bank customer can withdraw money, check the balance, deposit cash, and deposit check from the ATM. A card holder can use a credit card and debit card to withdraw the money from the ATM. A customer can access the ATM for various types of ATM transaction. Card as credit card. Okay. So here you will have a bank customer, a card holder, right? And these are the admin, you can say the admin thing. So bank customer can withdraw money, can check the balance, can deposit cash. So for that you will make use cases, right? And the card holder can use a credit or debit card to withdraw the money. So uh, so this card user will have a debit card or credit card to he can also withdraw money. So like that you can make. So they have given you the dependencies also, the include dependencies. Specialized types of dependencies are known as include dependencies. There are different possibilities to log the activities of a project management system. These possibilities may be as project managers, resource managers, and system administrator to interact with the system, right? So, while the second figure defines the activities of the project manager, resource manager, and system analyst as they log into the system and they are using the use case diagram. So, here they are showing you. So, you have three actors: project manager, resource manager, and system administrator. These are the three actors. And what all use cases they will be talking about, right? So include dependency is used to make the relationship between one use case called a base and another use case called an inclusion use case. A base use case is called the inclusion use case. It is shown by the dashed arrow from the base use case to the inclusion case. The base case monitors the behavior sequence of the steps to include in the use case. Like here, suppose you have here they are saying it is common to use cases and added of as different use cases which can be reused in other use cases. In the log activity of the use case is included in the manage project, manage resource, and administer system use cases. So administer system use case is there, administer system, and it is having it is in manage in the administer system. It is also it also includes manage project. It also includes manage resource. So something like that. Example, include use case. So one use case can have multiple other use cases which it will be including. So that is what include use cases there. Which we have also taken earlier also, that this is explained the include dependency use in the use case with the help of an example they are saying. Then third question, again a second, third, fourth, and fifth, you have to do any three. You can leave one question. So third is explain an event, state, and transition in context of state diagram with the help of an example. So again, I think state diagram uh, here in block 1 unit unit 4 it is given. So you events they it was asking you event, state, and transition. So it is given here. So so event, what is an event? Event is anything which is happening, right? uh, So events are also known as the thing that occurred with what is happening, right? UML event, event things happened in the form of the model. An event is a model specification causes something to happen in time and space. Events can be internal, external. Events may occur in synchronous, asynchronous. Time at which the event executes is an implicit attribute. So event is that. Then they are asking you what is a uh, transition. So we are talking about that. Event is there. Then state. The state is a circumstance of the course of an object's existence during which some condition is fulfilled, some operation is carried out, or some event is awaited. For limited period of time, an object persists in the state. For example, in an ATM transaction, the ATM may be in either reading card state, reading pin state, choosing transaction, or performing transaction. So this is a state. What is transition? Transition refers to the relation between two states. The first state performs some action and reaches the second state. The transactions are executed when one event is defined and conditions are met. Transition fires means state reform takes place. So that is what transition is. So this is explain an event, state, and transition in context of state diagram with the help of an example. So example, you can take the state, any state chart diagram. You can take that and you can explain that one state is going to another state and there are some transition or some events happening, and a transition is happening from one state, it is changing to another state. That kind of a thing, right? So like here they were talking about the ATM example. So you can take that ATM example only if you want. In this, the diagrams are not clear, but I have already given you some brief material, so you can go through them also. What is the basic purpose of drawing a component diagram? Draw a component diagram for online banking system and explain it and make necessary assumptions. So in practical also, we had gone for the component diagram, right? So you can go for that. So in a component diagram, so that is your architectural modeling diagrams also. component and deployment diagram. So we are talking about that. So component diagram is given, everything is given about the component diagram here. So the right, so they are asking you what is the basic purpose of drawing a component diagram. So component diagram, it shows the set of components and the relationship in the system. It shows the physical components of the system having been organized. It helps in understanding if the system functional requirements are covered by plan development. So the relationship among components are called dependencies. So this is the basic purpose. It helps in understanding the system functional requirements, right? And draw component diagram for online banking system. So that we have already seen banking. You can make a component diagram for a banking system, like they have made for an ATM system. This is an ATM machine. This is a bank database, client console web page. So they have made for a ATM system. You can make for a banking system also similar way. Now, fourth question is what is DFD? Draw DFD up to two level for online banking system. Also briefly explain the meaning of balancing a DFD. So for the DFD, sorry, uh, block 2 unit 8 is there. This is your DFD. So the functional model, data flow diagram. So data flow diagram is a simple graphical technique that represents an entire system. So you have circle, arrow, rectangle. So these are the things you use in your DFD, right? So uh, you have data, so you have entities. So we are not talking about that. You must have studied that in your first semester also, the DFDs in your software engineering. So these are the design flaws in DFD. So only one context diagram should be there. In context diagram, that is zero level diagram, there should only be one bubble, right? So each process of bubble should be decomposed into between 3 to 7, that, right? Minimum 3 and maximum 7 when you go to first level DFD, right? So they have made a simple sample functional model. So here they are giving you an example. So this is your this is for online shopping system. You have to make for what you say, online banking system, I think. Yours is online banking system. This is for online shopping system. So you have administrator, you have customer. Administrator gives the admin details and gets a response, and customer also gives the customer details and gets a response. This is a context level DFD, right? The zero level. Then you come to one level DFD. In one level, is further decomposed. This context level DFD is further decomposed in a hierarchical way to explain the entire system. So minimum 3 levels to 7 levels you can have. Minimum 3 and maximum 7. So here level 1 DFD from customer side they are explaining. So you have registration, process, customer login, manage account, purchase item, make payment, return item. So here if you see from the customer point of view, the customer can register, log in, manage account, purchase item, make payment, and return the item. These are the things a customer can do. So you have customer database, you have item or order database, you have credit card company database, and or you can say payment, and here order database. This kind of a thing, right? So this is level 1 DFD. Then you have level 1 DFD from administrator side. Administrator can also log in, manage category, manage item, manage order, manage report. So from the administrator point of view, first level DFD is like admin login, manage category, manage item, manage order, and manage reports. So admin login will have the administrator database is connected, manage category, category database, item database, order database, and reports. All the databases will give you the reports which are there. Then level 2 DFD, they are talking about level 2 from the customer side. If you have to make, so you can explain The in level 1, the different parts you have distributed, any one, either register you can explain, login you can explain, manage account you can explain further in second level, or purchase item, so you can explain that, or multiple you can explain. So here they are explaining manage account part in level 2 DFD. So in manage account, the manage account will have view account, change password, edit profile from the customer database. They can do that, right? So then purchase item also they are explaining in level 2, search item, search offer, manage cart. So like that. So make payment also they are saying payment gateway, item order to administrator, or cancel order. So this kind of a thing. Then administrator side also they are explaining manage category, add category, delete category, update category, view category. So this kind of a thing. So that is there. They are explaining. Balancing one, I don't know where it is given. DFDs cannot specify why the value of an object has been changed.
और वो के ड्रिलिंग मशीन होगा उनके पास ड्रिलिंग मशीन लेके आया मेरे यहाँ तो बाहर डली हुई है तो वहां से बोला लगी ठीक है तो आप मेरे को बता दो क्या क्या डॉक्यूमेंट भेजने हैं
Leveling the DFD was also there. I'm just seeing where it is.
इसमें कोई जीएसटी वगैरह नहीं है ना इसके अलावा जो अमाउंट है वही इंक्लूडिंग जीएसटी में
Just hold on. Sorry. I'm just finding out. Huh. So there is balancing a DFD means that the data that flow into or out of a bubble must match the data flow at the next level of DFD. That is what balancing means. So they were asking you question na, uh, that also briefly explain the meaning of balancing a DFD. So balancing a DFD means that the data that flow into or out of a bubble must match the data flow at the next level of the DFD. So if you are making in one level, you are making login or register or make payment or whatever, so that should match or that should flow to the next level of the DFD, that should match the flow. That is what they are saying. So that is balancing a DFD, right? Then then B part is what is the need of a design documentation? What are different types of it? Also explain the features of a good design. So design documentation, I think so. It should be in this one. So this is about from OOA, that is object oriented analysis. We go to object oriented design. So system design we are talking about. So laying down the design goal, decomposition of the system, reusable components, breaking into subsystem, coupling and cohesion, concurrency identification. So if you are asked a question about concurrency, so it is in block 3, unit 9, management of a data store, object oriented database, DBMS and RDBMS relation. The difference is given, controlling events between objects, boundary conditions. So this is not having that. 10th unit. So they were asking you about what is the need of a design documentation. Okay. Here in unit 11, block 3, unit 11, design documentation is there. So we'll go to that. So design documentation is the information that completely describes the design process. The term is derived from an idea regarding documenting the design in formal writing. And object-oriented programming, as object-oriented programming allows the reuse of software content, that is why there is growing demand to document the existing software. It is good to apply object-oriented technology to documentation also. So documentation should be precise in explaining the capabilities of already constructed components. It may be divided into various types: user documentation, system documentation, and project documentation, right? So what is the need of design documentation? So this is a need that there are reusable software content, and there is a growing demand to document the existing software, so it is good thing. So they are just explaining how the document design is further divided or classified. uh, A good design document is significant in many areas, like there may be a probability that the software may be divided into many modules and many developers are working on different modules. As there is no technique of software development that goes in a sequential manner, it is an iterative process. Documentation is necessary. Each software is developed in parts or comes in a different version, and it's easy to develop a new version from the previous one if the design is documented. software tested and evaluated using many performance criteria, so it must be documented. Finally, maintaining software is a very hectic task and requires a document with all the details, right? So this is why you need a good design document. The need for a design document is these, that suppose you there are many developers. If suppose one of the developers leaves, or there are many modules, so if you are not documenting, if somebody leaves, so if you have a design document, the new person which joins can understand what is there, right? So all the things are not sequential, they are iterative, they are repetition in the. So if the documentation is there, so there you may understand that what all things are going on. So this is why is there. So they have also given you what is the content of the design documentation, a basic architecture of the system, diagrams, all aspects. And what are the features of a good design document is highly organized and well structured, summarized, uniform or homogeneous, reliable and perfectly framed. It should cover all the requirements collected during the analysis phase. It should be less illustrative and more emphasis on images or pictorial representation. So this is what the features of a good design document should be. And what are the different types of design documents? So we have seen that it is what was there? So user documentation, system documentation, and project documentation. These are the different types, right? Then fifth question is write short notes on the following collaboration diagram. So collaboration diagram was in, I don't know, it was in this part or so this is having state chart diagram. I don't know collaboration diagram is there or not. Collaboration is also known as communication diagram. It is there with sequence diagram. In the interaction diagram, you have collaboration diagram also. So, so you have sequence diagram and collaboration diagram here. So collaboration diagram represents elements as they interact over time and how they are related as in the form of object organization. In the collaboration diagram, the method called sequence is indicated by some numeric technique. The number indicates how the method are called one after another. We can use the same order management system or sequence diagram to describe the collaboration diagram, right? So they have given you activity diagram also. They have not explained it, but the more the collaboration diagram. But I have given you the content, so you can go to that also for the collaboration diagram, right? It is similar to the sequence diagram, but only thing is it is numbered accordingly. So that is there. Then data persistence. So data persistence is in the fourth block, I think. Data persistence. Persistency. So data persistence is you that the most important task the application performs are to save and restore data. Persistent data may give useful mechanism for passing data between programs and permits the program to resume processing after a while. If you want data to persist after the program execution, then you must use a permanent data store. So data persistence means saving the data somewhere in a database, right? So you have persistent data and a non-persistent data. The persistent data is permanent data, that is steady and restorable and is accessible after closing the application. So it is steady, it is restorable, and it is available even after closing the application. This type of data must be saved in a database, so internal or external. And non-persistent is temporary or data is not accessible after closing the application. It just like it is in, or it is also known as transient data, temporary. Persistent data means which is permanent, which is saved in the database. So that is there. Then mapping object classes to tables. So we have also done that, mapping object classes to tables also. right? So mapping object classes to table was this one. After this, in the fourth block, object mapping with databases. So this is how you map. Uh, we'll take an example like here. You have a course table and a student table. So if you have to map it into, so so you can do mapping of object classes to tables in a vertical partition or horizontal partition, anything, but we will be talking about them lately. So if you have to model map associations or whatever, like country and city are there. So if you have to map them into a table, so create table country. Country code is a primary key. Country name is there, and primary key is country code. Create table city. City code, city name and country code are there, and primary key is city code in this, and foreign key country code will be here in city code also. It is will be foreign key which is from the country table, references country. So like that. This is the example. You can also take university employee and university employee one to many relationship. So here there will be three tables like this. So the create table university is there, university ID, university name, university address, primary key in university ID. Employee table are employee ID, employee name, employee address, and primary key is employee ID. And the third table, university employee, will have university ID, employee ID, job title, salary. University ID and employee ID are the two primary keys, and also the university ID is a foreign key from university, and for employee ID is foreign key from employee. So that kind of a thing. So you can take any example, mapping object classes to tables. And class diagram they are asking. So class diagram is also there in your second unit or first unit, I don't remember, in block 1. And this is explaining about class. I think in first unit it may be. So in second unit in block 1, class diagram is one of the most common diagram which is used to model object-oriented systems. So class diagram depicts a logical structure of the system. It is a static or structural diagram. It shows classes, interfaces, and their relationship. When you draw class diagram, you can only use those class attributes that are important in the current context of your application and display related classes in the same diagram. So this is the example they are showing of the class diagram, right? So you can give an explanation here. So this is what one of your papers was. These are the answers to the papers. Can you understand that? Is anybody having any doubt in the question paper? Class? Anybody is having any doubt? So what else you need to find out? Tell me. What all next thing you want to study? Should we go to another paper, or are there any doubts you want to ask? So this is your December 2024 paper, right? Again, the same thing. Question number 1 will be compulsory and attempt any three. So here it is explain basic principles used in OOAD. Principles will be your abstraction, polymorphism, and inheritance, which was in your first unit, right? This principles of object, this abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, right? And polymorphism. These are your principles. How do these principles add flexibility, maintainability, extensibility to the software? So, reusability is by or extend reusability is by inheritance. Extensibility is through polymorphism. You can extend that, right? And encapsulation is hiding the important details, and abstraction also means the same thing, or keeping in one unit is encapsulation, right? Maintainability, extensibility, so that can be explained. Categorize the following into classes, objects, generalization, aggregation. So book is a class. Book and author will be association. Book and author have a relationship, so association will be there. Printer will be a class. Student, MCA student, will be inheritance, or you can say in generalization. Student, type of student is MCA, right? Computer and monitor will be again I think association. What is state diagram? Write components of state diagram. Draw state diagram for online examination system. So state diagram also we had seen already, right? This is use case diagram. This one was state diagram. So state diagram also, in this we talked about events and state and all that. So here they are talking about the state machine. What is that? You can find, you can see that. So the different components are state, transition, right? Then you can also have substates also. So just an example. So you have a state. One is command. Then you are getting into a history substate, where you have collecting, copying, and cleaning. And other states are there. So these are your transitions which are happening. This is how you are showing, right? So like here, your starting state is there and an ending state will be there. So start state, then it goes to idle, right? Idle can, after, if it is attention, then it will go to command, right? After every 20 second, it sees that some attention is there, or it is still idle. Then command is given to idle. Whatever command is given, it comes to the alarm system. A substate is there where if it is active, it is checking, then calling entry or call center, and then waiting, and then clear to idle. So this kind of an alarm system they are making. So this is what they are showing. Draw the state diagram for online examination system. You have to make, right? What is association? What are different types of association? With the help of an example, association is relationship, right? So I think association is given in this or not. Association is a part of relationship between classes. Refers to relationship between classes in which objects of one class are connected to other class objects for communicating data. When you connect two classes, it is a binary association. Associations are can be of many type, like aggregation and all that, composition. So I don't know. Um, hmm. So aggregation is another form of association, specify whole part relationship, right? even in this also you can go for state diagram from this also if you want. The state diagram question can be answered from this also. So this is what a state chart diagram. Objects have behaviors and state. The state of an object depends on its current activity condition. State chart diagram shows the possible states of the object transitions. So there they are explaining it. So you can go for that also in state chart diagram. I think here they are saying association may be binary, ternary, or have higher order. Aggregation is one kind of association. Composition is also there. Generalization and this is also a kind of, so they are abstractions. Mm. So this is what you have to explain here. Explain with the help of a example. Again, you can give associations over. So associations. Draw DFDs up to 2 level for online examination system. Make necessary. Again, DFD is asked here in the second question. Draw class diagram for online examination system. So class diagram is asked. Third is what is use case diagram? Write the objective of use case diagram. Describe elements of use case diagram with the help of an example. So this is another one which is asked. What is system design? Explain the primary task performed during system design phase. So system design is in I think in this part, I think system design is there. This is system design in unit 9. So during system design, the system designer transform the analysis object model into design object model by using functional and dynamic models which explain the functionality and interaction among objects. System designer formulates a design objective of the system by looking into the non-functional requirements which must be considered during the implementation of the system. So there are primarily three tasks performed during the system design phase: laying down the design goal, decomposition of the system, and identification of boundary conditions. So this is explain the primary task performed during the design phase and what is system design. So this is what you have to give the definition and this. Then what is concurrency? Explain with the help of an example. Also explain the need of concurrency management. So concurrency was also given here. I don't know, it is in design only. Concurrency identification. So concurrency is a property that distinguishes an active object from inactive object. Concurrency allows two or more objects to be executed at the same time. It allows multiple tasks to execute, interact, and collaborate simultaneously to achieve global functionality of the system. So during design, one must analyze objects that are concurrent in nature, identify mutually exclusive objects. That means they are running simultaneously. As in many real life problems, the system needs to manage different events simultaneously. Also, there are many computationally intensive problems which exceeds the capacity of a single processor. The possible solution is to use processors capable of multitasking or to use a distributed set of computers for implementation. So you use threads and processes. A single process or task is known as a thread of control, and it is the root from which independent actions are generated within a system, right? And you have problems like synchronization algorithms are there to synchronize the processes, so that deadlock and starvation does not appear. These are the problems which arises due to so you have to synchronize deadlock and starvation. So they have given you that. So uh, what is concurrency is explained with the help of an example. Explain the need of concurrency management. Concurrency management is needed because deadlock or starvation can occur. So you need to manage the concurrency, right? Simultaneously, if you are running two or more processes or threads, so they may like here there are two processes. One is using R1 as a resource, and P2 is using R2 as a resource. To complete the process one needs R2 as a resource, and process 2 needs R1 as a resource. R2 is accessed by P1, and R1 is accessed by P1, R2 is accessed by P2. But to complete they require the one which is accessed by the other one. So this is a deadlock situation. This is not leaving R1, so P2 cannot complete. P1 is not complete because R2 is accessed by P2 and it needs R2 for resource 2 to complete. So this is a deadlock situation. So you have to manage that also so that deadlock does not appear, right? So that kind of a thing, or starvation does not appear. So these are the two problems which comes due to concurrency, and the synchronization algorithms help you to get out of this. That is why you need concurrency management, right? What is design optimization? Explain its need. To design optimization is in unit 11, design optimization before design documentation, which we have already seen. So in this also, I think. Um, So design optimization is it considers various design models constructed and trade-offs between time, space, cost, and other metrics, but does not leave behind other criteria with ease of maintaining, implementation, extension, ease of understanding, reusability, and many more. A design model add detailing to support efficient information access. The designer uses the analysis model as a framework for the implementation as it stores the logical information regarding the system. While designing a system, the correctness of the analysis model is required for efficient implementation, and then optimize it. So first, when you are designing a system, then your analysis model should be correct. That is the most efficient thing. And then after that analysis model, you have to optimize it also. Some important points related to design optimization are often a small part of the code is responsible for most of the time or space costs, right? So your small part of the code is responsible for most of the time. That means it is taking too much time and space. For that you have to apply cost also. If it is taking too much time and space, so you have to optimize that. Then optimizing critical areas is the best approach to work on all the areas evenly. So if you have a critical area, so first you have to optimize that, so that that area is not taking too much time or space. Optimized system is more ambiguous and there is little possibility of its reusability. So the system which is optimized is more ambiguous. That means it will be used it will not be reusable. So that portion is generally little possibility of reusability of that thing is there. It is good to maintain the correct balance between efficiency and transparency. Right. So tasks that need to be performed for design optimization include work on providing efficient access paths, reorder the computation for greater efficacy. Intermediate results should be saved to avoid recomputation. So these things should be done for design optimization, that you work on providing efficient access paths, that you can access the paths different ways. Reorder the computation for greater efficiency, that means computation should be such a way that it should be efficient, it will not take more time or effort. And intermediate result should be saved to avoid recomputation, and intermediate result should be saved so that you should later on you should not require. So it is explaining these things, that how adding redundant associations for efficient access and algorithm optimization and all that. So you just have to explain what is design optimization, right? So that is why explain its need. What is serialization, where it is used, and why serialization also we have seen. I don't remember. In block 4 we have seen serialization, or so this is there in block 4. It is serialization is the process of transforming an object into byte stream to store the object to memory or a database. Serialization main objective is to save an object state so that it recreates when needed. So the inverse process is known as deserialization, and this process is used to convert byte stream to actual Java objects in memory. The creation of the byte stream is platform independent, so the object serializes on one platform can be deserialized on a different platform. So that is what serialization is. So where it is used and why we have already covered in that. Explain how the object classes are mapped to database tables. So again, the same question is asked: how object classes are mapped to database tables. So you will take tables, you will show the association between them, one to many or one to one. So how does those classes are mapped to database tables? You will show. Then write short notes on the following: cohesion and coupling. So we had also seen cohesion and coupling somewhere in here in unit 9. Cohesion and coupling is there. So breaking down of the system, you have cohesion and coupling. When you break down the system, so the two important properties that must be considered by decomposing a system into subsystem is cohesion and coupling. Cohesion shows the independence of a subsystem, and coupling defines the dependencies between subsystem. So cohesion will be should be more. So while decomposing a system, the system designer must see whether the subsystem perform all the services on its own or needs a little or no service from other subsystems. Such a type of system is called a loosely coupled subsystem. A loosely coupled subsystem is independent and easily manageable. If we make any changes in one subsystem, it will not affect any other system. On the contrary, if a system is highly coupled, then any changes made to single subsystem will affect all other connected subsystems. So coupling should be loose and cohesion should be more. Cohesion is independence of subsystem, and coupling is dependencies between subsystem. So that is what here it is. And what is dynamic model? Dynamic model is the one where the dynamic behavior of the system is explained, and the diagrams which are there are sequence diagram and other state chart diagram and all that. So I think dynamic modeling, there are different types of models which are there. So we just go through them. Huh. So dynamic modeling, it is concerned with time, state, and transition of one state to another. Events that trigger the transition, actions that happen after the event occurred and are simultaneous. So that is the dynamic model is discussed in unit 7. So this is unit 7. So this is dynamic modeling. Um So here there, so the structure of its objects and aspects of a system concerned with time and changes are represented with dynamic models. Control defines the sequence of operations that occur in response to external stimuli without considering what operations to do, what they operate on, and how they are implemented. So that is what dynamic model is all about. Just hold on for a second. Yeah, sorry. Right, then synchronous and asynchronous data flowed in DFDs. So synchronous and that is in DFD thing. So DFD, in this you have synchronous and asynchronous data flows. So if you want to, if you are asked functional versus object versus dynamic model, so this is also there, the difference between the three of them. So you can go through them also. We were talking about synchronous. So synchronous versus asynchronous data flow. So here they are showing you. So three data flows, the data item integer flowing into read number process, the item named integer flowing from the read number process to find modulus process, data item modulus. So in order to explain this concept, we have shown a part of the software system that reads a number then finds its modulus. In case of synchronous data flow, the output produced by the process read number is immediately used by the process find modulus, a data flow arrow that directly connects both the things. So like here, the data item is passed to read number, it reads the number, then the number is passed to find modulus, it finds the modulus and gives you the output. So this is synchronous. But in case of asynchronous data flow, there sits a data source between the two processes. The first process produces the data stored in the data source. Later on, another process can use this. As we can see, the two processes are independent of each other. So data item is passed to read number. It reads the data and puts it in the data store. The number is put in the data store. Find modulus captures from the data store the number which is stored in the data store is taken from the data store by find modulus, and then it gives you the output find modulus. So between there is a data store. This is known as asynchronous. So this is what synchronous and asynchronous data flow in DFD. Then immutable associations are also there. So that will be, I don't know whether it is here. Not here, immutable. It is not in this also. So we'll see what is immutable. Mutable means which is repetitive. Immutable means which is not repetitive. So, an immutable association refers to a relationship or link between entities where the connection itself or the data defining it cannot be altered or after its initial creation. This concept is commonly encountered in programming, programming and dealing with data structures or object-oriented. This fixed. It is fixed. You cannot alter it or change it. That is immutable. So, like user and department, you can't change the association between them. That kind of a thing they are talking about, right? So this is what the second question paper of December 2024 is. Any doubt, anybody? Anybody is having any doubt in these things with what we have covered today? Anybody? Anybody has any other doubts or any other issues which they you want to ask? Class, is there any doubt or anything you need to ask? Everybody has put their attendance. Should we end the class or anything you need to ask? Any doubts, anybody? Any topic you need to discuss? Everybody has put their name and enrollment number in the chat box for attendance. Any doubts anybody is having? So should we end the class? We'll meet tomorrow. Tomorrow is your last class. Anything, any doubt you are having, any topic, we can cover up tomorrow. Tomorrow is your last theory class. Sorry, practical class, you can say. Right, so this was all about your syllabus is complete. Overall syllabus is already complete. Only thing we are just revising and seeing what all your doubts are, and we are discussing the question papers which are there. Right, so we'll meet tomorrow if no doubts are there, and we'll discuss the doubts and other things tomorrow also. We'll take another previous year question paper and also discuss them. Right, should we end the class? Okay. So take care. We'll meet tomorrow and we'll discuss the doubts tomorrow also. Take care then.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome, welcome. Bye.